Today we are going to discuss the questions and answers of commerce which got held in 25th November 2021 shift 2. Okay, so when you are analyzing the different shifts which got held for commerce exam, you can see that the areas which got asked in different shifts are quite same. Okay, but the thing which got asked, like for example, you can take capital budgeting. If you are taking that particular topic, you can see that there is a question regards to capital budgeting in shift 1 that was related to ARR. But when you are comparing or when you are just considering to shift 2, here also there is a question from capital budgeting. So the areas are quite same, but the questions are which is focused on the different terms, right? So moving to the first question, if each value in a given set of data is divided by 4, how will it affect Carl Pearson's coefficient of skewness? So this is a question from statistics module and which is focused on skewness. So here the question is actually if the given value, you are dividing that particular value by 4, what will be the effect it is going to show on the coefficient of skewness? And you will have the options. A, it will reduce the value of coefficient to 1/4, it will increase the value of coefficient to 4 times, it will not affect the coefficient of skewness value, and the final option is nothing can be said about the change. Okay, and the correct option given by NTA was it will not affect the coefficient of skewness value. That is the correct answer, option C. Moving to the next question, the annual demand for an item is 3,200 units. The unit cost is ₹6 and inventory carrying charges 25% per annum. If the cost of one procurement is ₹150, determine the number of orders per year. So this is actually a question from accounts and which is focused on EOQ, economic order quantity. It's a very important topic as we already discussed about EOQ in our previous videos. So when you're taking this particular question, you need to calculate EOQ. That's the first thing. So which is not specified anywhere. But after calculating EOQ only, you can come to the answer, that is for calculating number of orders per year. Okay, so by using the equation, it is very easy to calculate and you will get the answer as option B, that is 4. We will discuss about them in detail in coming videos. Okay, so moving to another question, stretch goals that challenge people to achieve higher level of success in current activities is known as. So this is about the variety of goals which we are studying in a part of HRM, human resource management, and you need to identify which the stretch goal that challenge people to achieve higher level of success in current activities. And you have the options: control stretch goals, cluster stretch goals, vertical stretch goals, horizontal stretch goals. Okay. And the correct answer was option C, vertical stretch goals. Moving to fourth question, given below are two statements. One is labeled as assertion and other is labeled as reason. So you have two statements. One is assertion, another one is reason. You need to identify which of the statement is true or false, and as it is an assertion reasoning question, you need to identify whether this reason is supporting the given assertion. So coming to the assertion, mean deviation is about 80% of standard deviation. So which is specified that the assertion is specified that mean deviation is actually 80% of standard deviation, and we know that that is true. And when it comes to reason, the quartile deviation is about 2/3 of the standard deviation. That is also correct when you are identifying the equations from this part. So you can say that both this assertion and reason is true, but see whether this reason is supporting this assertion, given assertion, or which is not actually connected to this quartile deviation and all. And you can say that both these are correct and R is not the correct explanation of A. So the correct answer is option B. Question number 5, the exemption which respect to HRA is based upon the following factors. So this is actually from income tax module and which is focused on HRA, house rent allowance, and you need to identify the exemptions with regards to HRA. So rent paid, place of residence, salary, HRA received, fair rent and market rent. Okay. And the options you should identify a combination of answers in order to come up to this answer, and it will include rent paid, place of residence, salary, and finally it will include HRA received. First 4 items should be there. So an option with first 4 options A, B, C, D only. The correct option is option A. Question number 6. Arrange the following stages of the process of organizational change in the sequential order. So when you are analyzing the questions, you can see that there are lots of questions which is asked with regards to sequencing various process or steps. Okay, so here also we have you need to identify in proper order for organizational change. A. Detailed consideration of the proposed change. B. Collection of detailed information and development of alternative approaches in relation to problem of issues. C. Evaluation of various alternatives and framing a proposal. D. Vocalization of the need to change. And finally, E. Search for the main cause underlying the symptoms encountered. So this is also from human resource management and which is dealing with the organizational development and change. And when you are making an order, you can be with the second option which is given by NTA, that is D, A, E, B, C. Okay, so it starts with vocalization of the need. So firstly they are getting a need and that should end with option C, that is evaluation of various alternatives and framing a proposal. Okay, so the correct answer is option B. Next question, dash is a percentage discount rate used in capital investment appraisals which brings the cost of project and its future cash inflows into equality. So you can see that this is from business finance and which is from the area of capital budgeting. Okay, so when you are considering this particular area, you can see that it's a percentage discount. From that you can go with you can arrive at the answer, and which is actually IRR, internal rate of return, option B. Next question, when the demand is slack and market is competitive, firms follow which of the following pricing methods? Okay, so we are studying about this different types of pricing methods in marketing, as well as we are discussing various pricing strategies when you're dealing with economics modules also. Okay, so here we have the options: penetration pricing, peak load pricing, marginal cost pricing, and skimming pricing. So you need to identify which pricing policy you should adopt or which pricing method you should adopt when you are considering the demand. Demand is slack, and what about the market? Market is very competitive. And the correct answer is marginal cost pricing, that is option C. Moving to 9th question, amalgamation adjustment account is used for recording. So this is actually from accounting and auditing module, and which is about amalgamation, absorption. In that particular area, you need to identify the adjustment account. So how we are recording it. So capital reserve in the books of transferee company, general reserve in the books of transferee company, statutory reserve in the books of transferee company, revenue reserve in the books of transferee company. And the correct option is statutory reserve in the book of transferee company. Now the 10th question, A is a resident in India aged 60 years, earned agricultural income of rupees 50,000 and non-agricultural income of 30,000 during the previous year 2019 to 20. What is the tax liability of A? So this is from income tax. As we already discussed in shift 1, you can see that there were a question which is also based on this agricultural income calculation, right? So here also we have the question from that similar area, but here you need to calculate the tax liability of this particular person. Okay, so you have all the information connected with this, and based on that you can arrive at the options, and while you are considering that particular option is not actually in this option, so you will go for option D, nil. Okay, so the value is not actually, which is not 72,000, 72,100, 2,600. So the correct answer is option D. Question number 11. The net profit of a partnership business after providing for income tax for the last 5 years were 80,000, 1 lakh, 1,20,000, 1,25,000 and 2 lakh. The capital employed in the business is 10 lakh and the normal rate of return is 10%. the value of goodwill on the basis of annuity method, taking the present value of annuity of rupees 1 for 5 years at 10% is 3.790 approx will be. So here you need to calculate the goodwill, and here you have the information in connected with the profit of last 5 years is actually given here, and the capital employed, the amount got invested was rupees 10 lakh, and the normal rate of return is 10%. Okay, and as you need to calculate, which is based on annuity method, the present value is also given. So this is actually, or we are dealing this particular area in accounting and auditing module, and which is about partnership accounts. In that area we are specifying about this goodwill, and you have the options A 2500, so the values are approx values only, okay, not an exact value. 79,225, 94,770 and 2,25,000. So these are the different values, and by calculating using the equations you will get into the answer option C, that is 94,770. So this is an approx value, as we are using this value of annuity in it, that is 3.7907. Okay. Now let's move on to the next question, question number 12. Which of the following countries or territories is not a member of WTO? So this is actually from our first unit, that is Business Environment and International Business, in which we are dealing with this WTO World Bank in that particular area. So here it is about identify the country or territory which is not a member of WTO, and you have the option China, Russia, Iran and Taiwan. And the correct answer is very direct, that is option C, Iran. Next question, maximum tax-free limit for payment received under voluntary retirement scheme is. So this is actually from the module of income tax, and the question is actually you should identify the maximum tax-free limit, okay, if it is a case of voluntary retirement scheme. And you have the options 4 lakh, 5 lakh, 8 lakh and 10 lakh. The question is very direct. You can go with the option B, rupees 5 lakh. Question number 14, which of the following is not true about rural market? Okay, so again a question from marketing area, and which is focused on different types of marketing, that is rural market. So here you have the options, print media is not necessarily impactful in rural market, rural customer is price sensitive, no significant change may be required in the advertising copy, and D, product should be simpler, easy to use, service and media. So which is not true. So you need to identify a false statement with regards to rural market, and it is very simple. The correct answer will be option A, that is print media is not necessarily impactful in rural market. It will be. So the correct answer is option A, print media is not necessarily impactful in rural market. Question number 15, again a question from statistics, and which is about sampling and non-sampling errors. So here we are dealing with non-sampling errors. Non-sampling errors may arise because of, so you need to identify the reason for creating a non-sampling, or a reason for emergence of a non-sampling error. So you are actually studying this area in your paper 1 also, in research also you are dealing with this area. So yes, you need to identify a combination of answers. Vague definition used in data collection, defective method of data collection, incomplete coverage of population, wrong entry made in the questionnaire, only a part of population is observed and expected to avoid census study. So actually you should identify the reason for non-sampling error. So that the first option should be there, that is vague definition used in the data collection. Then comes to the defective method of data collection, that is also a reason. Incomplete coverage of population will not be answer, which is not creating a non-sampling error. Then comes to D, wrong entry, which is in questionnaire, that will be there. Then only a part of population is observed, right, and the expected to avoid, we are avoiding census study also. So you can go with the options A, B, D and D. So an option with A, B, D and E is option D, that is the correct answer. Question number 16, arrange the following steps of formulating research proposal in a logical sequential order. So again this is a question from statistics, which is from the chapter research. So you have to arrange these research proposals in order. Okay, so defining research problem, formulation of hypothesis, review of literature, collection of data, research design. So this is a very direct question, and the step should be like this. Firstly, it should start with defining the research problem, then you should come with the review of literature, then you have the formulation of hypothesis, research design, and finally it is about the collection of data. Okay, so your option should be like this, how A, C, B, E and D. So it starts with A and it should end with D, right? So an option starts with A and ends with D is option D. That is the correct answer. Question number 17. Given below are two statements. One is labeled as assertion and other is labeled as reason. So this is an assertion reasoning question, and which is actually from the area of contract, as it is related to a contract. So how this contract will become valid or void, all these will be discussed here. So assertion is given as A, the owner of ship by fraudulently representing her to be seaworthy induces B on underwriter to insure the ship. Comes to reason, B can obtain cancellation of the policy as it is a fraud on account of fraudulent misrepresentation under the Contract Act. So here the particular person got entered into a contract, but here that the other person used some fraudulent methods for getting that particular person into contract. So by reading this, you are able to identify that A is of course true and reason is also correct, and this reason is actually explaining the assertion, given assertion, right, as it is connected with this, and this reason is saying why, what does this assertion explain. So you can say that A and R are true and R is the correct explanation of A. So we'll go with option A. Okay. Question number 18. The cross elasticity of demand between the complementary products is. So this is actually from economics module. So here they focused on elasticity, okay, that particular area. So when you're considering the shift on also, you can see that there is a question from elasticity of demand. Here also you have a question which is on cross elasticity, which is related to complementary products. Okay, so whether it is positive, zero, negative, infinite. A very direct question, and its answer is option C, negative. Question number 19. Which one of the following is not the characteristics of mutual fund? So this is actually from the area of banking, and here you need to identify which is not a characteristic. So you have 4 options, and one is not actually a characteristics of mutual fund. So you need to identify that particular statement. Consistent investment process, strong fund management, diversity in interest rate, and lastly differences from the benchmark. Okay, and the correct answer is option C, diversity in interest rate, when you are considering about mutual funds. Question number 20. FDI in Indian manufacturing has largely been. So we are dealing with this foreign direct investment in your first module, and that is business environment and international business. In that area we are discussing about this foreign direct investment, and you need to identify FDI in India, Indian manufacturing has largely been. So which is the reason for this large investment in FDI? So resource seeking, efficiency seeking, market seeking, and option D, which is export oriented. That's correct answer is option C, market seeking. Question number 21. Tax audit is compulsory in case of person in profession whose gross receipt from the profession exceeds. So this is from the area of income tax, and which is specifying about tax audit. So in shift 1 also you are seeing a portion which is related to this tax audit. So here you should consider if it is based on profession, if it is related to the income from profession, what about the amount? An amount to be that can be included this. Okay, so if it is 1 crore, 40 lakh, 60 lakh and 50 lakh. So the answer is very direct, which is rupees 50 lakh. Question number 22. Which of the following are the reason of rising via securitization? Again a question from business finance, and which is focused on securitization. So you can already see, we already seen a question from the securitization part when we discussed shift 1 questions. So here also you have a question which is related to securitization, and you need to identify a combination of answers which make a reason for rising funds through securitization. To raise capital using non-conventional sources, to accelerate earnings for the financial reporting purpose, to diversify funding resources, the potential for reducing fund cost. Okay, so you can actually include option B, C and D. These 3 options should be there, not one is not actually a reason. So B, C, D. Option B, that is the correct answer. Moving to 23rd question, requirement for effective market segmentation. So this is from marketing module. When as you can see that there were a question in shift 1, which is related to market segmentation, and that was actually what about the different basis for classification of this market, or the different basis for market segmentation. Here also you have a question which is related to market segmentation, but the question is the requirement for effective, to make this market segmentation effective, what all are the factors that should be required, and you have the options: accessibility, differentiation, measurable, viable, intensity in a competition, and you have to identify a combination of answers. Sure, there should be an accessibility should be there, and differentiation you can avoid that option. Measurable, it should be measurable, it should be viable, right? Then intensity in competition should be there, so you can go for an option without B, that is A, C, D, E, that is option D. Now the next question, which one of the following is included in the term work under Copyright Act 1957? So this is actually from legal aspects of business, and which is concentrated on the area of intellectual property rights. In shift 1 also we have seen a question which is related to Copyright Act 1957. Here also we have a question from the same area, and here you need to identify which all are the items which got included under the head of work. Okay, so when you're discussing about Copyright Act, we are saying that it will get like the term work. Okay, so you need to identify which all are the things which you can include in that particular definition. Okay. So a cinematographic film, layout design of integrated circuits, a sound recording, a dramatic work. So when you are able to identify this particular definition work, it is very easy to answer this question, as it is include a cinematographic film, a sound recording, dramatic work. Okay, and the question is which is not included. So which is not included? Option B, layout designs of integrated circuits. Moving to 25th question, use of focus group and collaboration tools as a training needs assessment technique has the following disadvantage. So here it is focused on HRM area, and here they are asking about whether you are using this focus group and collaboration for finding this training needs assessment. What are its disadvantages? Okay, and you have the options: time consuming or organized, unuseful with complex or controversial issues that one person may be unable or unwilling to explore, questions cannot be modified to explore unanticipated issues, and D, group members provide only information they think you want to hear. Okay, so here you need to identify the disadvantages. Option A is of course a disadvantage, as it is about time consuming. It takes much more time. Okay, so time consuming or organized will be there. And option D, group members provide only information they think you want to hear. So these two options should be there, and when you are considering that A, B only, you can go for option A. Next question, management according information is used for which of the following distinctive purpose? So you need to identify what's the purpose of this management according information. And by reading this, you have to take a combination of answers which includes A, measurement, B, control, C, recording transaction, and D, alternative choice. And the correct option should include, okay, measurement should be there, then recording transaction, you can actually avoid that particular thing as it is connected with this management recording information. Control should be there, alternative choice should be there. So A, B, D, these 3 points should be there, that is option C. Next question, question number 27. Arrange the following steps in logical sequence of debt recovery by financial institution through debt recovery tribunals. So here you have a question which is actually based on the debt recovery process, and here you have to make them in order. You have a number of steps, you have to make them in a logical sequence. Okay, so that is A, restrain himself from dealing with or disposing of the concerned assets or properties pending at the hearing of the application. B, direct him to disclose particulars of properties other than those specified by the applicant bank. And option D, show cause within 30 days as to why the relief should not granted to the bank. And C, the first one should be option C, show the cause within 30 days as to why the relief should not be granted to the bank. And B will be option 2, that is direct him to disclose the particulars of properties other than those specified by the applicant bank. And finally, option A is considered as the third one. So this is the level C, B, A. That's a correct order. C, B, A. That is option D. Next question. Which one of the following statements is true about the risk considered for capital requirement under Basel II? So again, you have a question. This is actually from banking. You have a question related to Basel norms. In shift 1 also you have a question which is related to Basel norm. Okay, so here you need to identify which all are the risks that we are including or considering for capital requirement when you are considering Basel 2. Credit risk, interest rate risk and foreign exchange risk, credit risk, market risk and operational risk, credit risk, political risk and country risk, credit risk, interest rate risk and political risk. And see, the correct one is option B, credit risk, market risk and operational risk. It's a very direct question. Moving to 29th question, the theory which explains the effect of devaluation on the balance of trade is known as. Okay, so here you have a question which is actually from the first module, and here you need to identify what's the reason or what will be the effect or which of the following curve or theory will actually explains this the result of devaluation on a balance of trade. And you have Phillips curve theory, Tobin hypothesis, J curve theory and K curve theory. And the correct answer is J curve theory. Question number 30. Any planning of tax which aims at reducing tax liability in legally recognized permissible way can be termed as an instance of. So this is from income tax and it's a very direct question, and these are the different terms that we are studying when you are going with the major important terms of income tax and tax planning, tax avoidance, tax evasion, tax management. Each point or each definition is much more similar, but they have lots of some difference, very important distinct feature that you should identify. Even if whenever you are reading, you feel like it's same, it has some major differences that you should identify. So you should identify the definition of this definition shows some of the one of the term which is connected with tax, and you need to identify that particular term. So see, planning, it's about planning, and see that it is legally recognized. So we are doing in a legal manner. Such a tax thing is actually known as and what's the purpose? In order to reduce. So it is in a legal way, you are trying to reduce your tax liability as much as possible. So you can go for the answer as option B, that is tax avoidance. Okay, not tax evasion, it is tax avoidance. Tax evasion is a negative term. Okay, and question number 31. Usually in which one of the following performance appraisal technique subjects self-rating are negatively correlated with their subsequent performance in an assessment center? And you have options: appraisal by subordinates, 360-degree feedback, self-ratings, peer appraisals. So this is actually a question from HRM, and when we are discussing about the performance appraisal. Okay, and the correct option is very direct, that is option C, self-ratings. Next question, which of the following entity has recently negotiated to replace NAFTA with the effect from July 2020? Okay, so this is a direct question, and as it is related to a recent update. You can see this particular area we are studying about this NAFTA and all in first unit, business environment and international business. And yes, you need to identify the replaced name. Okay, and the answer is option B, USMCA. Okay. Question number 33. Which of the following taxes have been replaced by GST? Indicate the correct code. So this is actually from a tax portion, and you can also see this GST in area of legal aspects of business. And you need to identify which of the following taxes, or which one is not actually, or which one got actually replaced by GST, or what was the or which law got replaced by the new law, that is GST. Is it central excise duty, service tax, taxes on advertisement, duties of excise, medicinal and toilet preparation? Okay, so this is also a combination of answer, except the C, that is taxes on advertisement. You can include all the other A, B and D. That is option A. Okay, question number 34. Income effect of a price rise is greater than its substitution effect in case of. So this is actually from the module economics, and here you have to identify the goods, which type of good is actually in case of which type of goods income effect of a price rise which is greater than its substitution effect, and the answer is GFN goods, option B. Question number 35. Given below are two statements. One is labeled as assertion and another is labeled as reason. So you have to identify whether assertion, the first statement, and the reason is true or false, and whether this reason is supporting the given assertion. Okay, so assertion, foreign investment is playing an increased role in the economic development and contributes to a significant share of domestic investment, employment generation and exports. Reason, substantial increase in the magnitude of capital inflows have remarkably improved the balance of payment and foreign exchange reserves position. Okay, again you have a question from the first unit and which deals with balance of payment and foreign investments. Okay, so by reading this statement you are able to identify that the assertion is given as correct, right? And what about reason? Reason is also true. And the next question, whether this reason is supporting the assertion or this reason is saying, that means the second statement is saying a reason for the given assertion. No, it's not like that. So you can say that both A and R are correct and R is not the correct explanation. That is option B. Question number 36. Which of the following events after the balance sheet date would normally qualify as adjusting events according to Accounting Standard 4, events after balance sheet date? So again you have a question from Accounting and Auditing module and which is based on the area of accounting standards. Okay, so here it is about Accounting Standard 4. So in shift 1 also you have a question from accounting standards, right? So here we have the options: the insolvency of customer on the balance sheet date, a decline in the market value of investment, the declaration of an ordinary dividend, the determination of cost of asset purchase before the balance sheet date. Okay, so it should include the events after balance sheet, means it should include the insolvency of customer on the balance sheet and also the determination of cost of asset purchased before the balance sheet date. Okay, so that is option A and D should be there. So the correct answer is option D, A and D only. So the next question is the match the following question and you have list 1 and list 2. This is actually from your first unit, Business Environment and International Business, and it is about various institutions. Okay, and list A you can see International Finance Corporation, International Development Association, World Intellectual Property Organization, and D, International Bank for Reconstruction and Development. And in list 2 you can see the various years which is connected with the formation of these different institutions. Okay, and when you are matching it with, you can see that this option will come like this, that is A, International Finance Corporation. You can connect it with the third option, that is 1956. International Development Association, you can connect it with the fourth option, that is 1960. World Intellectual Property Organization, which got formed in 1967, that is option 2, and D, International Bank for Reconstruction and Development, which came in 1944. Okay, so A3, B4, C2 and D1. So the correct answer is option D, A3, B4, C2 and D1. Again, a match the following question, and this is actually from your economics area, which deals with the objectives of business firms. So in list 1, it is specifying about the various objectives of business firms, and list 2, it is about the economist and connected with who promote these objectives of business firms. Okay, and when you are coming with the first option, that is long run survival, B, sales revenue maximization, C, firms growth rate maximization, D, managerial utility function maximization. And economist in list 2, Maris Robin, Williamson DE, Rothschild KW and Baumol WJ. Okay, and this is the way how you can connect it with long run survival is actually connected with Rothschild, and sales revenue maximization is connected with Baumol, firms growth rate maximization is actually connected with Maris Robin, then managerial utility function is actually connected with Williamson. So A3, B4, C1 and D2. So the correct option is option A, that is A2, B3, C4 and D1. Next question, which of the following is not true for supply chain management approach? So this is about a supply chain which you can discuss, in which we need to identify the one which is not correct when you are saying about this supply chain management approach. A, joint reduction in channel inventories. B, large breadth of supplier base to increase competition and spread risk. C, risk and rewards are shared over long term. Companies use intermodal transportation to reach their markets. Okay, so you need to identify the incorrect statement which is related to supply chain management approach, and you can say that B is actually wrong, that is large breadth of supplier base to increase competition and spread risk. That is a wrong option. Okay. Question number 40. A U-shaped long-run average cost curve is based on the assumption that. Again, a question from economics, and it is actually saying about the shape. If a U-shaped long-run average cost is based on the assumption, what all are the assumptions that you can connect with a U-shaped long-run curve? Okay, long-run average cost curve. So, which all are the assumptions? You should identify a combination of answers. And A, great division of labor and specialization accrue to large firms. Of course, that point should be there. Minimum cost production at various levels of cost of output. Is that point which you can connect it with? No. C, economies of scale prevail at small levels of output. True. It becomes more difficult to manage the firm effectively as it grows bigger. Right. E, diseconomies of scale prevail at a large level of output. So, you can say that A, C, D and E should be there. A, C, D and E, that is option D. Question number 41. Which of the following statements is or are correct regarding the application of data mining technique? Again, a question from marketing which deals with database management. In the first shift also you have a question from the same area. So, here you need to identify the statement, the correct statement which you can connect with the data mining technique. Predicting future trends based on information available, electronic data interchange, analyze demographic information about customers, and finally D, that is credit risk analysis. Okay, so it will not actually include this electronic data interchange. All the other option can be there. That is A should be there, C should be there and D should be there. That is option D. Now you have to match the following question which is actually from your accounting and auditing, which deals with the various types of shares and issues. Okay, so list 1 is about bonus share, demat share, right issue, sweat equity share, and list 2 is actually the explanation in connected with these shares. So, when you are coming with the first statement, that is invitation to existing shareholders to purchase additional new share, issue is made to existing members of free charge, shares are issued by a company to its employees or directors at a discount for providing know-how, and shares in electronic form. See, what do you mean by this bonus share? You can connect it with the second option, that is issue is made to existing members free of charge. So, when you are giving to the existing members, that is actually called, and with free of course we are not making any payment, that is called bonus share. Demat share means a share in electronic form. So, you can connect B with 4. C, right issue means an invitation to existing shareholders to purchase additional new share. So, you can connect C with 1, and sweat equity means the shares issued by a company to its employees or directors at a discount rate for providing know-how. So, A2, B4, C1, D3, a very direct and such a simple question. Okay. So, the correct answer is actually option A, A2, B4, C1 and D3. Another question, this is a question from statistics area, and you can see that here you need to find the probability. Okay. A coin and a pair of dice tossed together, the total number of possible outcomes for an experiment is. So, here you have two experiments is actually there. One is coin and another one is a pair of dice. So, both these are thrown and you need to identify the total number of outcomes, which all are the outcomes that you are going to get. So, the answers are 12, 72, 36, 24. Of course, it will be a huge number, that is option B, 72. Question number 44. Which among the following essence of the Information Technology Act is not correct? Is not a correct statement. So, this is a question from Legal Aspects of Business and it deals with IT Act 2000 and you need to identify which is not correct. Okay, so here you have a number of options, you need to identify which is not an essence of this IT Act. Legal recognition of electronic documents, yes, that should be there, A is correct. Any contract for the sale or conveyance of the immobile property or any interest in such property. Are we connecting anything like immobile property in IT Act? No, it is not actually dealing with that particular area. So, B is the correct answer for this question because B is not an essence. Okay. So, B should be the correct answer. Anyway, C is legal recognition of digital signature. Of course, it is a part of IT Act. Justice dispensation by system for cyber crimes, that is also correct. So, correct answer is actually option B as it is related to immobile property. Next question, environmental characteristics or factors influencing distribution decision are. Okay. So, here you need to identify the characteristics or factors which is affecting the distribution decision. Okay, like when you're connecting it with the marketing area. So you have government policy, state of economy, social activism, technological and infrastructural development, statutory provision. So of course the policy of government will affect, the state of economy will affect. What about social activism? It is not such a part. Then technology and infrastructure development should be there. Statutory provision also should be there. So A, B, D, E. Yes, that is option D. Next question, a type of validity based on showing that scores of the test, that is predictors, are related to the job performances. So this is actually related to HRM portion. We already seen a question from the same area, like which is based on validity in shift 1. So here also you have a question which is based on the type of validity. So is this test validity, criterion validity, content validity, or construct validity? So this is actually a criterion validity. In shift 1 that was a content validity. Okay. Another question. So here you have again a match the following question, and list 1 it's about advertising agencies in 2020 and list 2 is the brand which connects with it. Okay. So first one O and M, second one Can Erickson, C Trikawa Gray, and D JWT Hindustan Thompson Associates. Okay. So you need to connect these agencies with the brands. Okay, so you have the brands as Mastercard, Nestle, Cadbury, Procter and Gamble. Okay, and how you can connect it with it? See, O&M you can connect actually with Cadbury, Can Erickson is actually with Mastercard, Trikawa Gray is with Procter and Gamble, and JWT Hindustan Thompson Associates is actually with Nestle. So A3, B1, C4 and D2. That is option B, A3, B1, C4 and D2. Question number 48, which one of the following is true for consumers? So here you have a statement and you have to identify which is actually related to consumer. Okay, so you can actually connect that this is actually a part of marketing and you can also connect it with the first unit as we are studying Consumer Protection Act in first unit. So it can be a part of first module and also marketing. So A, consumers are rational and think in a linear manner. Culture and society have relationship to consumers' thoughts and feeling. Consumers can be motivated to believe and internalize messages the way the marketer desires. Consumers can explain their thought and behavior. So you need to identify which is true in connected with their with a consumer. Okay, so B is the best option you can go for, that is cultural. Culture and society have a relationship or that will influence a consumer's thoughts and feelings, right? So B should be the answer. Question number 49. Identify the necessary condition for price discrimination. Again a question from economics and which is based on the area of price discrimination. So there are some essential conditions to be satisfied to get price discrimination, and you need to identify a combination of answers from the given options. So there should be imperfect competition in the market. Yes, that should be there. Market must be separatable. That is also correct. Then differentiated product and interdependence between firms. That is not necessary. D, elasticity of demand must be different in different markets. That is also very important. So A, B, D. That is option D, A, B, D only. Question number 50. Which of the following explains downward slope of an ordinary demand curve? Again question from economics, and here you need to identify the reason for the downward slope of an ordinary demand curve. Okay, so the reason. Income effect of price change, substitution effect of price change, utility maximizing behavior of consumer, risk averse behavior of consumer. So the reason, so here also you need to identify a combination of answers. It should include income effect of price change, that's an important reason. Substitution effect of a price change is also a reason. And C, utility maximizing behavior is also, a consumer will try to maximize maximum utility from a product, right? So C can also be answer, D should not be there. So A, B, C, that is option C. Next question, the cash flow approach to assessing debt capacity involves the following steps, and arrange these steps in correct sequence. Again, there is a question where you need to arrange them in order. A logical sequence should be there which is actually connected with this debt capacity. So, specifying the tolerance limit on the probability of default, estimate the probability distribution of cash flow, taking into account the projected performance of the firm, calculate the fixed charges by way of interest payments and principal repayments associated with various levels of debt, estimate the debt capacity of the firm as the highest level of debt which is acceptable. Okay, so when you are going with this, you can go for the options like in the same order. So how it's given, the same order is the answer, that is A, B, C, D. This is the correct order. So the option itself in correct order. So you can go for an option like A, B, C, D. Yes, that is option B. Next question, which of the following is not an approach to the structure of Indian financial system? So this is actually from banking area, and you need to identify which is not an approach when it is when you are taking the case of a Indian financial system as a structure. So option A brokerage can be either full service or discount. B, the financial system is concerned about money, credit, finance, and three terms are intimately related yet are somewhat different from each other. Housing finance simply refers to providing finance for venture capital. Option D, financial instruments may also be divided according to asset class, which depends on whether they are debt based or equity based. So here you need to identify which is not an approach. Okay, so option C is of course which is not an approach, because it is actually saying about the housing finance simply refers to providing finance for the venture. Okay, so C only, that is option C. Question number 53. So again you have a question from income tax, and it's a very direct question. Which of the following are included in person under section 17 subsection 1? So when you are able to identify the definition of person, you can answer this question very simply, as it is saying about the items which got included as under the definition of person. So A Hindu undivided family, a company, a firm, an individual, a local authority, and association of person. So all of these are considered as a person under the section of 17 subsection 1. So it includes A to F. All these points should be there. Okay, that is option D. Question number 54. Principles of management are important and useful on account of the following reason. A question from HRM, and it's specified on the principles of management. So here you need to identify the important and useful or why this principle of management is important or useful. Okay, you should identify the reason why it's important. To increase the managerial efficiency, to attain social objective, to train managers, to improve research, to coordinate material and human resource. So what's the reason or why we are using this principle of management, or what's the purpose of principles of management? So with that you can improve the managerial efficiency. So that is correct. We can attain social objective also, that is also correct. We can train managers, we can improve the research, and you can coordinate the material, human resource, and all these. So every point should be there. A, B, C, D and E. Again the answer is option D. Now you have to match the following question from the area of statistics, and which is about probability distributions. Okay, so option A probability distribution, B binomial distribution, C hypergeometric distribution, and D uniform distribution. And in list 2 you have the equations in connected with these forms of distribution when you're finding sigma. Okay, and you can connect it with like this, that is A with second option, that is sigma is equal to square root of sigma p x minus mu the whole square. And if you are calculating in binomial distribution, you are calculating sigma by square root of npq. And if you are going for hypergeometric distribution, your equation for calculating sigma is n into n1 divided by n multiplied by n2 divided by n multiplied by n minus n divided by n minus 1, which is much more complicated. Uniform distribution is sigma is equal to square root of the whole square root of b minus q the whole square divided by 12. Okay. So A2, B3, C4 and D1. So that is option A. Question number 56. Which of the following can be categorized as an information processing service? Again you have a question from servicing area. In shift 1 also you have a question which is related to people performing services, which got the answer of healthcare. Here you have the question which is related to information processing service. So what will be the answer? That is option A, legal services. Question number 57. Which one of the following is not the service provided under NBFC, non-banking financial companies, which is from the area of banking. And here you need to identify which is a service which is not provided by NBFC. NBFC will provide a wide variety of services, but by reading this option, you need to identify which is not a service of NBFC. Leasing service, implementing modernization, asset managed service, mutual finance to service bank. So, leasing service, assets management, mutual benefit finance, all these are provided by NBFC, but it is not going to implement some modernization. So, B should be the answer. Question number 58. A minor takes a loan of rupees 4,000 from B during his minority. On attaining majority, he applies to B for a further loan of rupees 3,000. B gives this loan and obtains from a combined promissory note of rupees 7,000 for the two loans. This is considered as. So, here we have an example. So, this is actually based on the module legal aspects of business, and it's saying about the contracts, types of contracts. So, here first time when this particular A is making a contract with B, at that time he was a minor person, but later he became that means when he reached majority age, he again make a loan with this the partner B, the person B. So, at that time what he done was he was taken two loans. So, he combined the two loans and he made a promissory note and given to the party B. Okay, so you need to identify whether this contract is a void, valid, illegal, unilateral. So, void means it's a cancelable one, valid means it's a contract which you can go with it, illegal means when you are making a contract for illegal purposes, and unilateral means when there is a one party is doing something only. So, you can go for option B. This is a valid contract, like when he reached the age of majority, he is making a promissory note. So, that is also correct. So, you can go for option B, that is a valid contract. So, this is also a match the following question, and it's actually from legal aspects of business, which is focused on the term delivery. Okay, so we are discussing this delivery separately as an important term when you are dealing with Indian Contract Act. And here you have the types of delivery: actual delivery, constructive delivery and symbolic delivery, and the definition of delivery. And in list 2, it details about it gives the explanation related to each type of delivery and the explanation or the definition of the term delivery. So, in list 2, you can see that delivery of means of obtaining possession of goods by the seller to the buyer, physical handing of the possession of the goods by the seller to the buyer, voluntary transfer of possession of goods from the seller to buyer, acknowledgement by a third person in possession of goods to hold them on behalf of and at the disposal of buyers. Okay, so this is a way how you can connect it with A. Actual delivery can be connected with physical handling of the possession of the goods by the seller to the buyer, and if it is about constructive delivery, it's giving some acknowledgement. So, acknowledgement by a third person in possession of goods to hold them on behalf of and at the disposal of buyer. Symbolic delivery, some simple will be specified. So, delivery of means by obtaining the possession of goods by the seller to the buyer, and the definition of delivery is actually the voluntary transfer of possession of goods from seller to buyer. So, A2, B4, C1 and D3, that is option B. Okay. Question number 60. Which one of the following statement is false? So, you need to identify the wrong statement. So, this is actually from business finance, and it is, or you can also include this particular area in banking. We are dealing with this capital market and banking area also. So, option A, capital market is a market for medium and long term fund. That is correct. B, GDR is a negotiable instrument issued by a US bank, which is wrong. So, that will be the correct answer because you need to identify the false statement. Then C, many publicly listed companies in India trade their shares through Bombay Stock Exchange or National Stock Exchange, and D, securities that are listed on various stock exchange are eligible for being traded there is called listed security. Okay, anyway, the wrong statement in this given statement was B. So, the correct answer is of course B. Now, question number 61, identify the principles of trade policy framework from the following under the WTO. So, you need to identify the trade policies framework which is connected with WTO. This is actually from a question which is from business environment and international business, that is unit 1, and you have the option reciprocity and transparent, benefactory and resilient, non-discriminator, binding and enforceable commitment, and E, protective and benevolent. And see, the option should include reciprocity and transparent and non-discriminator, binding and enforceable commitment. A, C, D should be there. Yeah, that is option C. Question number 62. The reason put forth for the control over the activities of the international banks are. Again a question from banking area, and you need to identify why we are making a control over this international bank. What's the reason for this control? So these banks encourage inflation by additional stock of money supply through credit creation. These banks sometimes are responsible for bank failures that make the interest of depositors. They cause unmanageable indebtedness among the borrowing government by charging high interest rate. They do not adhere to the credit allocation policy of the host country. Okay. So every point, that is A, B, C, D, all these points are actually the reason which we are using or why we are making a control over international banks. So A, B, C, D. That is option D. Next question. So again we have a match the following question. This is actually from the area of finance, business finance, and it is actually dealing with international finance. So you have A, hedgers, B, financial derivatives in India, C, arbitrageurs, and D, commodity future in origin. And in list 2, it's about Osaka, increased volatility, commercial producers, and 4, riskless profit. The term in connected with the list 1 is directly given in list 2. You need to match them out. So hedgers, yes, it is a commercial producer, right? And financial derivatives in India, that will make an increased volatility. Arbitrageurs, always they are focusing on riskless profit. In commodity future in India, I mean commodity future in origin, that got originated in Osaka, that is in Japan, right? So yeah, A3, B2, C4 and D1. That is option B. Question number 64. This is a question from business finance, and it is actually focused on the capital structure. We have 4 methods or 4 theories which connected with capital structure, and one important structure or approach is approach. So this is about a calculation from that particular area. So what is the value of a levered firm? So that is specified as L if it has the same EBIT as an unlevered firm U with the value of rupees 700 lakh. So the value of levered firm and unlevered firm, when you are taking the EBIT is common for, that is earning before interest and tax is common for both these firms, that is 700 lakh, has a debt of rupees 200 lakh, tax rate is 35% under approach. Then you have to find the value of a levered firm. So the EBIT for levered and unlevered firm is same, and you have the other information related to the debt, then the value, and you have the tax rate. Now based on, you have an equation, direct equation. If you know a value of levered firm, you can directly find the value of unlevered firm, and if you know about the value of unlevered firm, it's very easy to calculate value of a levered firm, which we are discussing under approach. So by using that equation, you will get the answer as rupees 770 lakh. Question number 65. Arrange the following steps of market feasibility study in the sequential order. So this is actually from the area of marketing, and here also it is about, you need to arrange the marketing feasibility study in a proper order. You have a number of steps is actually given here. A, based on the cost and anticipated sales revenue, calculating break-even price and the sales volume, forecasting sales based on demand estimation and competitive analysis, estimation of demand in the target market of different prices, estimating the cost of serving, market segmentation. So the first step is actually estimation of demand in the target market of different price level. Then the second step is forecasting. You need to forecast about sales, which is based on the demand estimation. Then it is about estimating the cost of serving, market segmentation, and finally based on cost and anticipated sales revenue, you need to calculate break-even price and also the sales volume. Okay, so it should come like C, B, D, A. C, B, D, A. That is option B. Question number 66. Again, you have a question from economics, and which is based on the area of forms of market. In shift 1 also you have a question from the same area. So here, arrange the following market structures in increasing order of price elasticity. In first shift also it is like you need to make an order, right? So it is about perfect competition, monopoly, monopolistic competition, and oligopoly. So what's about the order? It starts with monopoly and should end with perfect competition. So monopoly, duopoly, oligopoly, monopolistic, and finally perfect competition. So yes, the option is B, B, E, D, C, A. Question number 67. Given below are two statements. So here also you have two statements. This is from the area of You can connect it with both with business finance as well as with banking sector. I mean banking module, we are dealing with this capital market there also. So in statement 1, capital market plays an important role in mobilizing resources and diverting them in productive channels. Is that true? Yes, it's of course true. Capital market is a market where buyers and sellers engage in trade of financial securities like bonds and stocks, etc. So both this statement is correct and very direct question. So yes, that is option A. Question number 68. The rights of consumer as enumerated under section 6 of the Consumer Protection Act 1986 include. So this is a question from the first unit, Business Environment and International Business, when you are dealing with Consumer Protection Act. So you need to identify the rights, which all are the rights of consumer. So to be protected against marketing of goods and services which are hazardous to the life and property, yes, the consumer should get protection regards to that. So A should be there. B, to be assured the competitive price and low cost quality products and services. Is that true? To be assured that the competitive price and low cost quality products. So you can go with the option, then read this third option. To be assured that consumers' interest will service due consideration at appropriate forums. That means the different levels, like the different sections that they are going for redressal commission at national level, state level, and all. Then to be protected for multiple use of products, profit, diversity and equity. To be informed about the quality, potency, purity. Yes, we have the rights to get information regards to the content that they are used in it, or the quality, all these we have the rights regards to that. So you can go for the option with the option D, that is A, C and E. Question number 69. Which among the following is not the characteristics of a transactional leader? So again a question from HRM, and it's about leadership. When you are dealing with the leadership theories, you have a topic, or you are studying about the various class of leaders or various types of leaders. So one of the type is transactional leader. So what is the, here you need to identify which is not a characteristics of a transactional leader. Okay, so he gives personal attention, treats each employee individually. So the first option is actually not connected with this transactional leader. He is not going to give any personal attention or treat the employees individually. So A is the correct answer for this question, and all the other points B, C, D are the characteristics of this transactional leader. Like he abdicates responsibilities and avoid making decisions, intervenes only when the standards are not met, contract exchange of rewards for efforts. So answer is A. Question number 70. Sequence of steps for computing depreciation in income from business and profession. So this is a question from income tax, and another head that is from income from business and profession. One of the important heads of income. So you need to make them in order. Okay, so in the first shift you have to arrange, to make an order regards to the income from house property, and here it is from income from business and profession, which is mainly about the computation of depreciation. Okay, and you have the written down value of each block as on the last day of the previous year. Find the value of each block at beginning of each year. The money received along with the scrap value, if any, in respect of same block which are sold or discarded during the year. Assets required during the year in respective blocks which are new assets. So it's firstly, of course, it starts with the finding the value of each block at the beginning of each year. Then you can go with the last option, that is assets required during the year in respective of blocks to which new assets belongs to. Then you can go for option C, that is the money received along with the scrap value, if any. If there is any value which is related to scrap, then it the same in respect of same block which are sold or discarded during the year. And finally, the written down value of each year as on the last day of previous year. So B, D, C, A. Right, option B. Next question. So here also you have a match the following question, and this is actually from the area of accounting and auditing, in which when you are dealing with cost accounting, you will deal with this JIT system, ABC analysis, FNCD analysis, WED analysis. So all these are the different methods of inventory control, and you have in list 2, it is about the explanation in connected with the various methods. Okay, so how you can connect it with it? So A, that is JIT system, you can connect it with inventory arrived to the manufacturing site just few hours before they produce just in time. So whenever you want to make a production, at that time it's going to arrive the material. So A3, B, ABC analysis. The items of inventory are classified according to value of usage. So we are classifying the materials based on its value, A, B, C, like a way. Then FNCD analysis, divide the items into the categories in the descending order of their usage rate. So how we are using, based on that we are classifying FNSD analysis. And finally, WED analysis is divides the items into categories in descending order of their critical use. Okay. So A3, B4, C1 and D2. So the correct option is option C, A3, B4, C1 and D2. 72 is also a match the following question, and this is actually from the area of HRM, which is focused on the organizational designs. Okay. So list 1 deals with the various types of organizational design and list 2 is about its features. So when you are reading list 1, you can see that learning organization, spaghetti organization, fishnet organization and a network structure, and list 2 details about its features. Okay. So the way you can connect in with it is that A, learning organization can be connected with the third option, that is the ability to continually change structure and internal process to conform to feedback with the environment. And if it is spaghetti organization, is the flexibility in the structure or lack of structure. Okay. And fishnet organization means it's flexible, adaptable, rearrange itself quickly while retaining its inherent strength. And network structure is, you can connect it with the second option, that is linking of separate parts of the same organization or networking of separate organization to accomplish a common goal. A very direct question, right? So see A3, B1, C4 and D2. A3, D2. That is option B. Next question, CCA method of inflation accounting is as a result of recommendation of. So this is from accounting and auditing, and which deals with the types of accounting or modern methods of accounting. So this is actually based on, or what was the result of the CCA, or how CCA method of inflation accounting has gone. So which committee got recommended that? Vantilland Committee, Chanceland Committee, Sandiland Committee and Maryland's Committee. It is Sandiland Committee. Again, a match the following question, which is actually from the area of income tax. So yes, this is actually related to the various deductions under section 80, right? So in list 1 you have section 80EE, section 80GG, section 80GGA and section 80E. And list 2 says about its explanation, or what's a thing which is got included in each of these sections. Okay, and the right way you can match it with A3, that means section 80EE deals with the deduction with respect to interest on loan which is taken for the residential house, and 80GG is actually dealing with the deduction in case of a rent paid. GGA is actually the donation for scientific research, and 80E is actually dealing with the respect of payment on interest on loan taken for the higher education. Okay. So yes, this is also a very direct question, that is A3, B1, C2 and D4. So the correct answer is option B. Question number 75. So this is also a question from accounting and auditing, and it is focused on accounting standards. The accounting standard 3 revised has been mandatory with effect accounting periods beginning from 1/4/2001 for which of the following enterprise? Okay. So A, commercial, industrial and business reporting enterprise whose turnover for the accounting period exceeds ₹50 crore. Enterprises whose debt or equity securities are not listed on recognized stock exchange. All enterprises whose turnover exceeds ₹2 crores. Only banking and insurance. So you need to identify which form of enterprise needs to follow this accounting standard 3 with effect to 1/4/2001. So the answer was actually option A, that is commercial, industrial and business reporting enterprises whose turnover for the accounting period exceeds ₹50 crore. Then they should go for a accounting standard 3. Question number 76. So this is a question from legal aspects of business which is based on Right to Information Act. So which of the following statements are true regarding the objectives of Right to Information Act indicates the correct code. So this is about identifying the objectives of a right to information. So to operationalize the fundamental right to information, yes, in order to bring them into an operational form. So that should be there. To set up system and mechanism that facilitate people easy access to, yes, that was the one of the important motives. So B should be there. To promote transparency and accountability of governance, yes, that is also an objective. To minimize corruption and inefficiency in public offices and ensure people participation in governance and decision making, yes, all these can be the objective of right to information. So A, B, C and D, that is option D. Question number 77. So this is about the various types of dumping. It is focused on that area. So this is from the module of economics. Okay. So occasional sale of commodity at lower price abroad in order to unload an unforeseen and temporary surplus of the commodity without reducing domestic price. So we are not able to, or we are not reducing this domestic price. So what is the situation, or which type of dumping is actually that? That is persistent, predatory, export subsidies and sporadic, which is sporadic dumping, option D. Question number 78. Which of the following are correct statement with regard to positive skewed distribution? Again a question from statistics, and here you need to identify which is correct when you are considering, or if it is a situation of a positively skewed, when you are, it is actually a portion of skewness, and you need to identify if the distribution is positively skewed, what will be the values, or how you can make a relation with all these values. Mean greater than median, greater than mode. Mean less than median, greater than less than mode. Then Q3 minus median is greater than median minus Q1, that is quartile 1. Quartile 3 minus median is greater than median minus Q1. Mean is equal to median is equal to mode. That means everything is equal. So if you are taking the case of a positively skewed, mean will be greater than median, and will be greater than mode. So A is the correct option, and you need to take a combination of answer. Then you can go for option D also, that is Q3 minus median is greater than median minus Q1. So A and D should be there in our option, that is option A. Question number 79. So this is a question from accounting and auditing module, and which is based on the area of partnership accounts. The assets of a partnership firm, including any sums contributed by partners to make up deficiencies of capital at the time of dissolution, shall be applied in the following manner and order. So this is actually related to dissolution process, and you need to make them in a order. Okay. So how we can make it? See, option A is about in paying each partner ratably what is due to him for advances as distinguished from capital. In paying to each partner ratably with what is due to him on account of capital, and in paying the debt of the firm to third party, then dividing among the partners in the proportion in which they were entitled to share profits. So when you are considering it as a step, firstly it should, in paying the debt of the firm to a third party, firstly you need to make the payments to the third party, then only you are coming to make the payments for the debt, the partner. So first step that should be option C. Then in paying each partner ratably, then you have to give preference to advances. If there is any advances, that would be your second criteria. Then you can go for, it's a case of capital. And finally dividing, if anything is remaining profit is there, you can give them to partners in their proportion. Okay, so yes, so C, A, B, D. C, A, B, D, that is option A. Question number 80. Skimming pricing strategy delivers result. So a question again from economics, which is about the pricing strategy. So skimming price strategy. So what is the result of skimming price strategy, or when you are using skimming price strategy, what will be the result? When the size of market is large and it's a growing market, or how you will get this result of this skimming price strategy. That means if you are using skimming price strategy, you should get a result. Okay, so when you need to adopt this skimming price strategy, or how it's become make a result for you. So if the size of the market is large and it is a growing market, when the product is perceived and enhancing the customer status in society, then when the firm uses it as an entry strategy, when the target market associates quality of the products with its price. So you will receive the benefits of skimming price strategy. In which situation? It is actually option B and D, that is when the product is perceived as an enhancing customer status, and D, when the target market associates quality, when it's giving to importance to quality, that is B and D, that is option D. Question number 81. Which of the following income is generally chargeable under the head of income from other source? So this is from income tax and it is concentrated on which head? Income from other source. So you need to identify the incomes which is actually included in this head. Okay. So income from subletting house property, director fee, ground rent, agriculture income from outside India, insurance commission, income from sale of securities. So which is actually or which one is actually chargeable or which we are including under the head of these the income from other sources. See, you can actually include except if you can include all the other option. That means income from subletting, director fee, ground rent, agricultural income from outside India, insurance, commission. A, B, C, D and E. Option D. On which of the following grounds the tribunal may order for the winding up of the company or petition submitted to it indicate the correct court. Again a question from accounting and auditing. You can actually connect it with legal aspects of business also, as we already said that it is also a part of Companies Act, is also a part of legal aspects of business. So, on or which were the situation in which the tribunal will ask for a winding up, passing of special resolution for winding up, conducting affairs in a fraudulent manner, reduction in membership, inability to pay debt. See, in all these situations, the tribunal can call for a winding up. Okay, so they can ask for the company to wind up their business. Okay, so A, B, C, D should be there. That is option C. Question number 83. So this is a question from statistics and which is based on binomial distribution. So we already seen a question from the probability distribution, same area, which was a match the following question. Again you have a question which is related to calculation. Okay, so for binomial distribution with n is 30, q is 0.7, the mean and variance will be equal to. So you have sample size is given, q is given, then you need to calculate the value of mean and variance. 21 and square root of 6.3, 9 and square root of 6.3, 9 and 6.3, 21 and 6.3. Okay, and the correct answer is 9 and 6.3. Next question, if the scale parameter r is greater than 1, the CES production function exhibits. Again a question from economics which is based on production function. So if r is greater than 1, what will be the situation? Decreasing return, constant returns to scale, negative returns to scale, increasing returns to scale. It is increasing returns to scale. Question number 85. So this is a question from legal aspects of business and which is concentrated on Competition Act. Okay. So the amount of penalty for making a false statement to the Competition Commission by a person who is a party to a combination shall be between. So if a person is making some wrong statement, so what is the punishment that is what is the penalty that he is going to face? 20 lakh to 50 lakh, 50 lakh to 1 crore, 8 lakh to 10 lakhs and 70 lakhs to 1 crore. It is actually 50 lakhs to 1 crore. Question number 86. The new issue debt or shares will invariably involve flotation cost in the form of. Okay. So a new issue of debt, you are issuing a new debt or that means debenture or share. Which all the item you can, it will be there like it is like flotation cost or which all are the items you can be included in that flotation cost. Legal fees, administrative expense, brokerage, underwriting and risk premium. Risk premium will not be there. So all the other option will be there. Legal fees, administrative expense, brokerage, underwriting. So A, B, C, D, that is option C. Another question, so again you have a question from WTO. So see, 3 questions were actually asked from the same area WTO. This is also from your first unit, Business Environment and International Business. So what's the question? Arrange the following countries in ascending order of their contribution to WTO budget 2020. So we need to make them in ascending order. Okay, so China, Japan, Germany, United States of America and United Kingdom. And the order will be like this. Firstly it is UK, then you can go for Japan, then Germany, then China and finally United States of America, right? So that will be like, it starts with C, E, B, C, A and D. That is option C. Question number 88. Arrange the following procedures for grant of patent in a proper sequence. So this is also from the area of legal aspects of business and which is based on patent right. Okay. So first, the true and first owner shall apply in the form 1 and legal representative of the true owner shall apply in the form 2. A complete specification shall be filled with the fee of ₹50 within 12 months from the date of filing application. The first inventor of the work who claims to be true and the first owner or his legal representative. For each invention, separate application of patent shall be made. So this is the question. And how you can make in a logical order? See, first inventor of the work who claims to be the true and the first owner or his legal representative. That's the first point, and then you can go for the last statement, that is for each invention separate application you need to make. Then it's about the true and first owner shall apply in the form 1 and the legal representative in form 2, and finally it's about a complete specification shall be filled with a fee of ₹50 within 12 months from the date of filing of application. Okay, so C, D, A, B, C, D, A, B. That is option B. Question number 89. Given below are two statements. So this is actually in statement 1, if firms are disproportionately powerful, the market leader makes first move and capture 2/3 of the market share, while the follower firms gets only 2/3 of the market share. And statement 2 says that oligopolistic firms do better by cooperating than following its dominant strategy. So this is also a question from economics, and again it's from forms of market. Okay. So first statement is saying that if the market leader takes 2/3, then the remaining, the follower is getting only 1/3. And in statement 2, it is specifying about oligopolistic firm. That means they are doing better by making a cooperation. They are working in a cooperative manner rather than making some dominancy with other other competitors. Okay. So you can say that both these statements are correct. That is option A. Question number 19. So again a question from statistics, and which includes quartile deviation. So it is mainly focused on measures of dispersion. Each of the values of series decreased by k. So if you just assume that the values in this series, each value got decreased by a particular constant. Which of the following does not hold in the context? So if in such a situation, which is wrong? That's a question. The quartile deviation does not change. The coefficient of quartile deviation remain unchanged. The lower and upper quartile values each increases by k, and the quartile coefficient of dispersion rises. So which one is actually wrong? The B, that is the coefficient of quartile deviation remain unchanged. That is option B. Okay, now you have a passage. Okay, so for exam, you will have a pattern of 2 passages will be there, and based on each passage you will have 5 questions. So this is the first passage in connected with this. So this is actually related to foreign direct investment, and I am not going to read the entire passage for you. You can just pause the video and you can read the passage completely, and after that you can get into the questions. Okay. So anyway, the first question from this passage was annual increase or decrease in India's annual FDI inflows and global FDI flows respectively are. So by reading that particular passage, it is very easy to answer the question, which is plus 13% minus 42%. Question number 92, again a question from the passage. The author opines that the paragraph that which of the following has helped to acquire assets in overseas market for expansion. So according to author, what was the or what makes him to make an expansion of market overseas? Okay, so low interest rate and increasing market values, low per capita incomes and high resources, attractive market and overseas valuation, government support and incentivization to promote cross-border trade. The answer was option A, that is low interest rate and increasing market values. So the next question, which statement is not true about China? So by reading the passage, you are able to answer this question very directly, and the answer will be USD 1.5 trillion sized economy. Okay. And the next question, which country outlined in the world in terms of FDI inflows in ICT and pharmaceutical sector? So it is saying about which of the country is giving more focus or which is giving more inflows when you are taking the sector ICT and pharmaceutical. India, USA, Israel, China, and the correct option was actually option D, China. The last question from the passage, India and Turkey are attracting record numbers of deals in. So what is the main area or what is the main sector it is focused on? Overall production, IT consulting and digital sectors, pharmaceutical and allied sectors, GDP and per capita income. Correct answer was option B, IT consulting and digital sectors. Okay, so this was the first passage and moving to the second passage. So based on this passage also you will have 5 questions and you need to answer by reading this carefully. Okay, so the first passage was actually related to foreign investment and here it is actually based on HRM perspective. So the management or various types of organizational structure, all these, the forms of organization is actually discussed under the whole passage. Okay, so you can pause the video and you can have, you can read this completely, right? And you can get into the question. So the first question from this passage was you have 2 statements and you need to identify whether these are true or false. Statement 1, management is the ultimate tool for achieving business goals. Statement 2, it was management only which initiated industrial revolution. So after reading only you just come to this particular question. So based on that passage you can say that the first statement is true and the second statement is false. That is, you can go for option C, statement 1 is true and statement 2 is false. Question number 97, which among the following is not correct statement? So again you can answer this question only by reading the complete passage. Okay, so A, industrial revolution was a turning point in business operation. Management theories are ever changing. Good management makes communication flow better. Management always moves in a straight line. And the correct option was option D, management always moves in a straight line. Question number 98. What helps the leadership to focus on their main goal? Management theories, organizational structure, interpersonal relation, effective HR policies, government directives. Okay, and the answer given was, which is option D, A only, that is management theories only. And the next question given below are 2 statements. So you have an assertion reasoning statement based on the passage and the assertion was, the industrial revolution brought better and faster technology allowing companies to perform more efficiently than ever before and gave them ability to dramatically increase their output. Reason, in order to meet demand, company leadership had to ensure their employees were productive. Okay, so by reading the passage, you will able to answer and see that this assertion is true and the reason is also correct. But by reading this, we are able to analyze that reason is not actually saying, the reason is not making a reason which is related to assertion. So yes, both A and R are true and that is not the correct explanation, that is option B. Last question from this passage. In the paragraph, what is meant by there is no such thing as a non-size-fits-all management theory? And so by reading the passage, you can see such a quote and you need to identify what does that mean. Okay, so management theories keeps on changing. There are different theories for different situations. A business can't grow without management theories and management theories are non-scientific. Okay, and the options was actually A and B only. That means management theories keeps on changing. There are different theories for different situations. So that is actually depicted by the quote given. There is no such thing as non-size-fits-all management theory. Okay, so this is a way how you need to answer from the passage. So in this video, we discussed the questions and provisional answers of commerce which got held in 25th November 2021 shift 2. So now you will have an overall idea of how questions is asked from the particular area. As you can see that the questions which got asked in shift 1 and shift 2, the areas are quite same, but the pattern or the questions, the way they are asking will be different. Okay, so I hope this video will help you for your preparation of NTA UGC NET and JRF. Happy learning. Thank you.